2021.
We welcome 2021. And we welcome you guys. Welcome to No Filter. I'm Marthea.
And I'm Bobby Jarrell.
And first of all, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
It's, I'm good.
For today.
Overall, I'm good. I'm healthy. In good spirits and all that stuff. I don't have high expectations for this year. Just going with the flow, taking it day by day. And don't touch nothing. So, how you doing?
I'm good. I think I reached out to you one day. I was like, I'm a little anxious, but I don't know. I feel like, I guess I want to have hope or whatever. I'm really hopeful for this year.
I guess I'm not looking at it as negative, but I'm not hopeful in the sense of, oh, it's just gonna be this great, wonderful, prosperous year. It's like hopefully things that happen the way I want them to happen, but at the same time, it's like I'm not hopeful for it to be just this magical year, And one of the things I said to myself was, everything that I'm wanting to happen this year is things that I can control, not in anybody else's hands. So, but that's I don't know. I know, the other day when we talked, you said you was getting ready to go do something, right?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to just get up. Yeah. I've been in the bed all day, and not to say that anything was wrong. I just needed rest. Resting. I had family over for the holidays, and I was resting. But then when I was resting for so long, I was like, ooh, I need to get up and do something. So that was.
And that's how it was, cause I think it was the same day. It was about 7:30 something. I'm I had been laying in bed all day doing nothing, and so I text Emmanuel was upstairs, and so I texted him. I was like, let's go have a drink, cause I just needed to get out, just to move and get out. But yeah, I don't know. It's I'm gonna try different things and just keep pushing forward with certain goals and everything, but overall, it's, I don't know.
Hey, girl. Hey, 2021.
Hey. Don't go acting like your cousin now. Don't
and you can drink now, so be mindful.
Yes. You legal now.
You're legal.
So you can get your ass now. I ain't making no threats. I'm sorry, 2021. I'm not making no threats.
So yeah, we have some good things to talk about today, starting off the new year.
Yep.
Let's start off talking about forgiveness and what forgiveness is, how you can move forward after forgiving someone or even yourself, because forgiveness isn't just about forgiving other people. Definitely. You have to forgive yourself to be in a better space. So what does forgiving or forgiveness mean to you, or how does that look in your mind?
So you're gonna put me on the spot first, cause the way forgiveness looks now is they be forgive and forget, and people oh, I ain't forgetting, and this, that, and the other. And I'm not even, for some people, it's I don't need to forgive you. You did what you did, let me just cut ties. Because for me, in the past, I wanted to be this person where oh, if I forgive you, then that means that I'm a good person, that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and being this positive light of energy and all that. But sometimes you just gotta say F you. Yeah. And let people go. Let them go. And I think if it's somebody that's in your life that has done you wrong or something like that, you can forgive them. You can say you forgive them. That don't mean they need to be a part of your life. That don't mean you need to interact with them at all. That's just how I feel. For forgiving myself, when I was younger, I think we talked about it in other videos, but when I was younger, I did some things that at the time, I'd be YOLO. YOLO wasn't a thing back in the day, but it's YOLO, I made this choice, and I have no regrets, and I'm living my life. And I look back at an older age, and I'm Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of regret doing that. I wish I would have did this differently, this, that, and the other. And I had to learn to forgive myself in the sense of you've made mistakes. Don't hold yourself. Don't hold that against you and who you are now. You've learned, you've grown, you've matured, and it's okay to say, okay, I forgive myself for the mistakes I made. But I don't know. Forgiveness it's you don't gotta forgive people. That's if anybody out there, somebody did y'all wrong, F them. Don't worry about them. Just let them go live their life. If you keep holding on to it, people hold on to so much. And I know I'm talking a lot. This is my last thought before I pass it to my field. I think a lot of times, like we feel that if we forgive a person, we expect them to be like, "Oh, thank you for forgiving me," and "Oh, I won't do it wrong," and that's when we get hurt because once we realize they don't really care about us forgiving them most of the time. So like you're expecting something from them that they ain't even worried about. Now, what do you think? What are your thoughts on forgiveness and what does it look like to you?
Well, I think if something happened and if something is really bothering you to the point where, you know, in a relationship this person has done you wrong or you feel a certain way, I feel like forgiveness, like the action, you can tell me, "Oh, I'm sorry" all day.
Yeah.
But it has to lead with actions, and that, in my opinion, when I do something wrong and if I hurt somebody, I want to kind of reflect on it a little bit before I say I'm sorry.
So, are you saying your forgiveness is dependent on them being sorry for what they did?
No. My forgiveness is dependent on if you were really genuine and if the action changes.
So what if their actions don't change?
Then you wasn't genuine,
so
and I can't roll with you no
more. So you wouldn't forgive them?
I forgive them, and I know how to move accordingly to what you do, how you move. Because if my whole thing is if I express to you how you made me feel, and you come back and you say, okay, that I didn't think that that's how I made you feel, but I'll reflect on that and everything. But and you tell me you sorry and you still do it. That apology wasn't sincere. And now I know how you are, so I can forgive you, cause I can forgive, but I'll never forget it, and you'll never get the same me. So
I agree 100%, and I think. In the past, like I've had times where people will come back after doing something wrong.
They always come back.
And you think, okay, now we're good and you're doing better, so I'm going to let you back in. And in a sense, forgive, only to see that they're still going to do that. Their behavior has not changed at all. And at that point, like you gotta cut ties. Like you, for me, I don't know, I can't. Especially like coming into 2021 and everything that happened last year. I don't have time to waste on the same old people. Now, if it's somebody, let's say like it's a new person in my life, and I think the people in the past have made it bad for new people because I'm at a point like I don't have time to constantly or continuously forgive and forget and keep doing it over and over. Like, no, like you got one chance. After that one chance, and I think for me, I had like a situation where somebody kind of fibbed the truth somewhat, and it bothers me. Because like for me, I try to be as honest and open as possible. But the first time you show me, okay, this is who you are, I'll make that mental note. I'll make that mental note. The next time it happens, you show me that's who you are. And I'm good. I'm good. I'm not gonna let it get to the point where I need to forgive your wrongdoing.
And that's the thing in just growing and having these life lessons, because once you've been through so much, you kind of can see when someone comes into your space, I don't like how they moving, or if they do something You can put it in, like you said, your mental note. Okay, let me watch out for this. And then that allows you to just kind of step away from that person because that's not the energy that you want. And so it goes back to, the people that are in your circle, you don't really too much have to forgive them because they kind of know how you are. And, if you don't have to. But those new people coming into your life and just doing some shady shit, you only get one chance. And like I said, I'm going to forgive you, but I'll never forget it.
So do you think, I know we're going to talk about it later, but do you, like when it comes to forgiving, like let's say you tell a person what you need from them, what you expect from them, and they still do you wrong. Mm-hmm. Is forgiveness worth it? Like, do they, do they deserve your forgiveness? When you clearly said, this is how I feel, this is what I expect, or whatever. Mm-hmm.
I think they don't deserve that forgiveness, but you deserve that forgiveness. Because I know a lot of times I get mad at myself for allowing people to do whatever or make me feel a certain type of way. So they may not deserve my forgiveness, but I gotta forgive myself for just allowing it to take up my mental space. Yeah. So that's just how I forgive myself a lot because sometimes I know when I shouldn't have been so open. Mm-hmm.
So, have you changed how you approach people going forward? Like, have you learned from those times where you had to constantly forgive? Is it constantly? Continuously? I'm gonna say constantly?
Constantly? Constantly sounds okay.
It sounds okay?
Sounds okay.
If it ain't right, oh well.
Oh well, 2021.
Yeah. YOLO! But, like, have you learned from, like, having to constantly forgiving yourself? Like, it's like, okay, I allowed this person to do this. Okay, I allowed this person to do it. I forgave them. I moved on. I had to forgive myself for allowing another person to do it. Has that kind of made a wall come up, or is it like, how do you go forward?
Well, the wall was already up.
Okay.
I already had a wall up. And then over time, when I get to know somebody, eventually those walls start falling. So I have to forgive myself for being vulnerable, being open, when maybe the signs were there and I just kind of overlooked it. That's how I am. The walls weren't up afterwards. They were there in the beginning. So
like, for me, a couple of years ago, I had, the walls were up. Like, I had a brick wall, then they had a barbed wire fence, they had a trench around it, had the drawbridge down, like...
The wall Trump wanted to build.
Like, it was a wall, man, I'm telling you.
Every wall you can think of.
Every wall, drywall, everything. I'm about to say something else. But back then, I had the wall up, like it stayed up. That was just my defense mechanism. And as I've gotten older, I put it on like a switch, right? Where I can flip the switch and the wall comes up, the switch doesn't want to go down. Because I've started to allow people to, like we talked about in one of the other videos, being more open, being more welcoming, and allowing people to come in and get to know me. But the moment I see that you ain't about poop,
shit.
Watch your language. We're trying to monetize one day. Anyway, but as soon as I realize you ain't about nothing, then I flip that switch and that wall comes back up. And then I think, like, people presently, I see them trying to pick at the wall because they know what it was like when the wall was down. Yeah. You got my whole heart when the wall down. But when that wall come up, and I'm not, and I think at that point where I am right now, I don't no longer need to forgive myself for allowing you in. That's because, what?
No, I was just asking. So when you would put that wall back up, was it something that was eating at you? Like, dang, I let this person in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because my wall was my protection. And it's like, okay, when I let it down, I'm thinking, okay, this is somebody I can trust. It's somebody that I feel means me well.
Yeah.
And once I realized it didn't, I'm like, dang, you should have known better.
Yeah.
Like the signs were there. They were clearly there. But you overlook them sometimes thinking, okay, this is a good person. Like not necessarily this is a good person. I want them to be a good person.
Why do you think we overlook certain signs? And then maybe that's kind of goes back to friendships and relationships. And why do we overlook certain signs that people bring to us and we're like, oh, we'll give them another chance? Why do we do that?
What I think it is, are you familiar with the 80-20 rule? Mm-hmm. So when you're missing something, and it can be just within you, like you feel happy about X, Y, and Z, but it's just this one thing that you want from somebody that you're missing. Mm-hmm. And when that person shows you that 20%, that other 80 don't even matter. It's like okay, all I'm worried about this right now. Like this is all I'm worried about. Just this little piece right now. But over time, you start to realize that, okay, let me get to know them a little bit better and see what this other 80% look like. And you realize that other 80% ain't worth nothing.
Nothing.
But it's like, I think, and that's us as human beings wanting companionship, wanting friendship. I think companionship is within friendship relationships also. But it's like when we want something so bad, it's easy to overlook it because we feel like we fulfilled with what we got.
And it's easy to become addicted to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially when it's something that you want and you're constantly trying to get it. That's an addicting feeling because you just want to get back to that feeling that they want or whatever, person, place, thing, where it once took you. And you gotta forgive yourself for that too.
Yeah. And it's like, I think going forward, you have to, once you forgive yourself, and I said, I don't remember what video I said it in about like God testing us, and we're going to keep going through some of the same tests over and over and over and over again until we learn the lesson, and then once we learn the lesson, we'll still go through the test, but now we know how to handle it. Yeah. And I think that's when it comes into play with friendships and relationships where we allow people to do certain things. And you think like, okay, God, like I learned my lesson with my last friend. I'm not gonna let it happen again. When it does happen, it was like, well, why am I going through it? Mm-hmm. God testing you to make sure that you learned the lesson, and it's okay. A part of forgiveness is learning to say no, learning to have boundaries. Yes. If you don't have those boundaries, you're gonna keep going through those situations. And it's like I said with my wall, having the wall up when I was younger kept people out. Mm-hmm. But I had to learn that in order to really see who they are, I got to have the walls down and let them in. Yeah. But now the walls are down. Mm-hmm. But I got like there's some shield still up now. I got like a little something still up where I'm like it's a plexiglass. It's 20.
Wait a minute.
My plexiglass been up for a while.
Yes.
Like I can see you, I can connect with you, but the plexiglass is still there. Yeah. And it's the moment you show me that you ain't about nothing, I'm putting that wall back up. Yeah. And like I said, with me, I had to, there's so much that I had to forgive myself for in the past. Mm-hmm. Like when we talked about like being promiscuous and things like that was my idea of thinking, okay, if I do this, then, people are going to like me. They're going to want to be with me and things like that. Mm-hmm. No, it's okay. Mm-hmm. Let me forgive myself. And let me move differently going into the future.
Let me grow. Let me learn. I know for me, in forgiveness, in the past, I was not a forgiving person. Saying I'm sorry used to hurt coming out of my mouth. But I did write down a little. What you got? Something. And how I grew to forgive.
I like that song about Kelly Price. You ever heard that? A little something on the side. You never heard it? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, in not forgiving as easily as easy.
Easily.
As
Easily.
In the past, I kind of reflected on what made me want to be more forgiving. And so I know I used to just be so mad all the time when someone would do something to me and maybe I wouldn't forgive them or whatever. I just hold on to it. I'd be so mad. So I put not forgiving leads to bitterness, anxiety, anger, and it takes over your life. And at that point, I didn't want nothing to take over my life to where I didn't have any happiness. So that was one of the lessons that I had to learn in just being able to forgive. Like I said, not forgetting. But I do forgive. And like I said, I move accordingly to how a person treats me moving forward. That was one of my learning lessons too. If you did it, we talk about it, you apologize. Or if I did it, we talk about it, I apologize. But my behavior is going to change. Because I know that's something that I hurt you with. If the behavior doesn't change, it's no reason to forgive somebody.
Now, I think with what you just said, what comes to mind is like, it's almost like we're expecting certain things from people. And when we expect things, that's when we get let down. And I think for me, like I've learned to stop expecting something. Like I said, if the actions and all that don't line up, this even before action, not behavior changing after I forgive you, but before I even need to forgive you, I'm looking at your behavior. And we have to be able to look at a person and say, okay, this is what I expect, this is what I need from you, this is what I want from you. And if your behavior doesn't align to what I expect, want, and need from you, then that lets me know, let me flip my switch, put them walls back up. Because if we continue to let it down and we expecting something and we're not seeing it, we're already doing ourselves a disjustice because it's not there. And we're still wanting it. And that's what leads to, I saw the signs, it wasn't there. It may not be bad things. It may not be bad things, it's just not what you want and what you need.
And what you deserve.
And if you see that, that's when you need to be like, okay, let me cut ties a little bit. Let me back up a little bit so I don't have to worry about forgiving you or forgiving myself.
Period.
That's all you got?
And then I have, in order to forgive, in forgiveness, your heart has to be of a right heart to show any act of forgiveness.
Say it again.
Your heart has to be of a right heart. To have any act of forgiveness.
I agree.
So, that's just with being sincere and genuine in forgiving yourself or other people. It's just, I think it's needed. And like you said in the past, of course, you have people around you that it shouldn't be to the point where I gotta forgive you all the time. Because you guys know each other in friendships, relationships. But I'm not going to say they're going to always be perfect, you know? And so, even out there, if it is something or someone that, you're like, I've gave several chances to, it's okay to forgive them, but watch out. Have a good heart to know, okay, that was them. I can't control them. But do yourself justice to be like, okay, I can't have that heart to be like, okay, I can't keep fooling with you if you're not gonna change.
I had a cousin of mine who, he's a couple years older than me, but like when we were young, a lot of years ago, like over 15 years ago, I saw how he would treat his friends versus how he would treat me. And I'm like, well, damn, I'm your blood, And so fast forward a couple of years ago, like we barely talk, even now we barely talk. And my sisters, my cousins, they're always like, oh, you need to stop acting like that. You need to, like, y'all family, this, that, and the other. I'm like, no, y'all don't know the history. At a young age, I was bitter about it because I'm like, some of the things he's done, I'm like, what? Like, it hurt.
Yeah.
Now I'm in a place like, if we're in the same room, same house, I can speak, we can laugh, we can joke, and I can walk away after that and be good. Be good.
I have a question.
Okay.
Does family permit more forgiveness than friends?
No.
Because your blood, do you forgive family members more so easily than friends? No.
Nope. I think like that, like we get into this idea of family, blood is sticking in water, and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, it don't matter who they are. If they treat you right, if they respect you, they love you, and they there for you, that's what matters to me. Like I said, there's some family members that I haven't talked to in years, and a couple of years ago, I used to be like, well, dang, what did I do something? Did I say something? Like, what is it? But I had to learn, let me not necessarily forgive myself, but just be able to walk away and say, okay, it is what it is. If they were meant to be in my life and be active in my life, they would be.
Yeah.
So my answer is no.
Okay.
You disagree?
No, I not so much disagree. I don't disagree with it, but I do, like I said, just distance myself. You know, if it's a behavior or you keep making me feel a certain type of way, you know, I kind of distance myself. And it goes back to, you know, I tell everybody I do this on my own in dealing with depression and dealing with, you know, just a lot of things that I go through. I deal with it alone because not all the time can I count on family and friends. And that's a hurtful thing. So I had to forgive myself, forgive some family members, forgive some friends for not showing up and being there for me how I would want. But it goes back to what you said, the expectation. And I expect a lot of things out of family and friends, especially if we're close.
Like I think, like with the expectation, it's okay to expect it, but once you see that the behavior you need isn't coming forth from them, that's when you gotta say, okay, let me stop expecting this because you can't be what I need you to be.
Got it. I get that.
What's your final thoughts on this one, child?
Well, child, I mean, like I said in the past, and I think we both agree on it, you know, just keep a watchful eye on it because you deserve what, you know, good things, good people, good peace, good space and energy. And so, you know, you learn through things, forgive yourself. If they don't change or if the situation doesn't change, move on. Let it go. Not for them. Don't let them have power over it, but for you. So you can live in peace.
I agree. Forgiveness it starts with you, and once you forgive yourself, then you'll be moved differently. So,
you move in such a peaceful way.
So you said it, child. All right, so make sure y'all follow us on Instagram at NoFilter, on where we at? Facebook, NoFilter 2.0, and you should be on YouTube right now. So make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe, like what you're doing right now, and hit the subscribe button. Once you've done so, it'll show that you are now subscribed to our channel. Make sure you leave a thumbs up, a comment. We would love to hear from you guys. Now, I want you to go over to Instagram and search at NoFilter the show and hit the follow button. We would love to interact with you guys. Lastly, go over to Facebook and search NoFilter 2.0 and follow us on Facebook.